Yes, everyone, cheers for joining us. 9 o'clock, time for a bit of a live, have a bit of a chat, see how everyone's going, and just chew the fat a little bit. A few things we're going to be talking about. News that the club wants Poch, players want Poch, Rangnick wants Ten Hag. Might talk about the chances of getting top four, things that need to change, things that need to fix, that sort of stuff. So get your comments in. We might do a little bit of a therapy session as well later, see what's going on. Might talk about what's going on with Russia and all the rest of it. I got some theories on that. We'll save them till later on in the mixer. Jed says, Steve, you need to get Rio to start pushing Ten Hag. I'm not sure how you think this all works. I don't know how much sway you think Rio's got with this at the minute. A little bit late, I do apologise. Wasn't intentional. Just been chatting to Callan, who is doing an app for Stretford Paddock FC. We talked about memberships and there's going to be an opportunity for people to own Stretford Paddock FC. I will be relinquishing it and giving it to the fans, doing the fucking things that the Glazers should have done. And you guys will have a chance to own a part of that and have a say in running that. But the delivery for that will be an app. So we're planning on launching that next month. I think it's going to be a delay in that. But keep your eyes peeled. I think that's very exciting. It's, forget 50 plus 1. This is 100 plus fucking nothing because it's 100. It's going to be 100% owned by the fans. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Put my money where my mouth is, essentially. If I think football clubs should be run by their fans, well, my football club will be. But we want to talk about the Poch news because, of course, the players want Pochettino, right? Of course they do. Right. Do you know when Brexit was happening, right? And you had, in one corner, you had Katie Hopkins and Nigel Farage, and they were saying Brexit's going to be awesome, and Boris Johnson. And in the other corner, you had like Professor Brian Cox and other people who can tie their own shoes and that, saying this is a fucking disaster. Well, this is a little bit like that, in my opinion. On one hand, you've got the footballers who we currently know aren't worth a wank, and the club who don't have a pot of glue what's going on with anything. And they want Pochettino. And so do half of the E-Reds that are out here. In the other corner, you've got Ralph Rangnick, who's a football fucking guru, and he thinks Ten Hag would be the man. I'm going to ask you, do you want to go and sit on the naughty step with Farage and Katie Hopkins? And the answer is no, you don't. Ever. There's never the answer to that. And then, or do you want to go and sit on the brainy step with people who actually know what they're talking about? Toxic Jax in the comments says, politics again, fuck me. Jax, I literally just read one of your comments earlier, so I know the level of brain cells that you're dealing with, mate. And honestly, you should be looking at some other stuff rather than watching YouTube tonight. Jack's comment was, why are we going to waste another player going on the loan to the Championship? Just put him in the Premier League. Fucking clueless, our kid. Fucking clueless. G. Kerno says, I would keep Rangnick. I don't think you're on your own, to be honest with you, that mate. I think he's put intangible differences in place that we can see. Chris says, hi Steve, hope you're good. Have you sent out olive green and gold shirts yet? Have you, as I haven't received mine? No, there was 880 to get through. I've just had to have a week off from going in because I've been ill, and the person sending them out is my wife. So we're getting through about 50, 60 per day. So we're trying. The hold up lately has actually been getting the C4 boxes from Royal Mail. There's a specific box that we have to get that I can't. How about we get Roy Keane in? Let Roy Keane go and get back into football at Sunderland. He'll probably have a good day. And see how it goes down. Ulf says, don't think Rangnick wants to be manager long term, wants his consultant role on the board. And I think that's fine if he does. Street Soul Lover says, Poch is perfect for the Glazers. Winning isn't important. I completely agree. And that, unfortunately, is the drama. Because I think that the Glazers will choose this on a financial decision. They're not going to want someone like Ten Hag coming here with his ambition and fucking desire to win stuff. They're going to want someone like Pochettino who will just fucking do whatever they say. Oh, he's rejected Sunderland, has he? Okay, that's news to me. I hadn't noticed that. Dave says, it amazes me how slow and pathetic our board and owners are. Ditto, mate. It's no surprise at the moment, though, is it? But yeah, ditto. Any plans for the Paddock Junior teams? Yes. It's in our plan, in our long-term plan. I don't know how long this is going to take to implement. I'm not reading that comment now, but that's a funny comment. The junior teams, there's a plan for a 100 junior teams, which is 10 teams at every age group, under 6 to under 16. 10 teams in every age group. 6 to 18. 10 teams, every single age group. That's the plan. Boys and girls teams. That's what we're looking for. How long it'll take to recruit that, I don't know. There's some stuff that I can't tell you about in the pipeline, which will make the recruitment very easy. The facilities is the drama. Come June, we're moving into somewhere. It's not ours. It's not something we own. We're renting a place, but it's a new built facility, £25 million facility in East Manchester. It's literally a stone's throw away from the Etihad. James, I know who you are. It's a stone's throw away from the Etihad. We've got a strength and conditioning suite. They used to be called a gym when I was growing up, but we've got a strength and conditioning suite and a gym. All sorts of like mad sciencey equipment in the mixer. And we've got an indoor futsal arena. It's sensational. We've got an analysis suite. It's fucking outrageously good. Stone Age says, what if Ten Hag just doesn't want to come? I think Poch is second best. He's definitely not second best. I mean, he's second. I mean, he's used to this, right? He's second in a 2-horse race, right? Actually, he's probably third in a 2. Do you know what? Been the most Pochettino thing ever. That he comes third in the 2-horse race between him and Ten Hag because Ralph Rangnick goes, fuck that, I'm going to stay myself. Tam says, whoever comes in will need an overhaul in 3 or 4 years, and I don't think New Age fans have enough patience. Oh, I know that they don't have enough patience. Eddie Trooper 666 says, Paddock FC fan ownership, any news? You must have just missed the first 2 minutes. No news currently, but it's in the pipeline and it's something that I am working on. There's a lot of stuff to put in place, put it this way, but it's definitely going to happen. As we move through the leagues, we have to cement and finalise and formalise what our legal entity is, and that's what we're going to do. Would I take Rooney as a manager? Oh, I'd probably take him over Poch at the moment. I don't think that he's the best option by far, but I would probably take him over Poch. I just really don't like Poch. Ant says, I heard Poch likes to kick cats. But the most aggressive thing he's ever done, if that was the case. And on the subject of kicking cats, like, I'm a dog guy, right? I don't really like cats, but I wouldn't fucking kick one. And I'm not really going to stick up for anybody who has kicked a cat. I think it's a bit of a shitty thing to do. But Alonso literally killed someone. And he's still allowed to play in the Premier League. People are talking like, you know, are you saying kicking a cat is worse than killing someone? I am, yeah. Call me old-fashioned. Like, I think there's just a desire for people to be outraged at the moment. And, you know, you shouldn't be kicking cats. Should you be getting fined? I mean, like, I think he was fined 60 grand for killing someone, Alonso. How are you fining someone 4 times more for kicking a fucking cat? Shouldn't have kicked a cat. I'm a big fan of fucking dogs. If I ever see someone fucking hurt a dog, I'm the one going to be going up to jail. But fuck me. Jed says, Alonso killed someone. Mate, you're going to be Googling some shit tonight. Believe me. Yeah, Alonso literally killed someone. I think it was vehicular manslaughter, if you correct me if I'm wrong. Alonso who plays for Chelsea. Dwayne says, why would Ten Hag not work under the Glazers? Ajax don't spend as much as us. The structure at United is terrible, and that may be different. Deterrent to wait for the City job if available. Yeah, I would. I don't know the guy's motivation, and from what I could gather, it's one of those, isn't it? Bernard, Mengi, Laird, Garner, squad next season. Yeah, Williams is doing bits now as well. There's some players that are doing bits on loan. Galbraith as well. Anyone watched Rooney's Unilad interview? I've not, actually. Thoughts on Enrique? I haven't seen enough of him to have a real strong opinion one way or another, to be honest with you. Stone Age says, haha, yeah, I went down that rabbit hole. Clivert had a similar thing too early in his career, but no one remembers him for that. I don't know about that. That's news to me. That's interesting. Emmanuel says, Glazers have killed the spirit at Manchester United, always digging him for every penny made. The level of care shown for football development infrastructure is shit. I agree. Ryan R says, Alonso's blood alcohol was 0.93 milligram per milliliter. Should be in prison, to be fair. Didn't know that either. Alonso was driving drunk, got in an accident and killed his passenger. He's not quite a murderer. And it's not kicking a cat either, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I saw TalkSport today saying that he should be sacked. Don't TalkSport have Stan Collymore on there, who fucking one-hour'd his missus? Like, you're the perma outrage place. If you want to be the people that are saying people can make mistakes and forgive and forget, all right, cool. But don't employ people that have done way worse than this. What's my thoughts on Declan Rice? I think he's a good player. I think he undoubtedly improves United. I wouldn't spend 100 million on him with this board because that's all you're getting. And we need more than that. David Wilton says, I want Ten Hag, but I also want him to leave and have a good managing career. No manager can save United until the owners are gone. If he goes City, I wouldn't blame him. Yeah, I agree. MK Dizzle says, Steve, will a new manager actually make a difference? We've had world-class managers before. Maybe it's the players. It's both, really. It's both. You have to have good players and you have to have a good manager. John says, Steve, thanks for the chat about mental health the other week. Been through hell myself last 2 years. Can't tell you how much help it is to hear other blokes talk about this stuff. The last one of these late night lives that we did get out of hand, didn't it? But I got a lot of really positive feedback from people saying that it really helped them as well. So I will continue to talk about it and discuss it. And to everyone that's reached out on socials and said, it's good to hear other people talking about it. People are starting to talk about it. I'm from the military, and it is something that you just don't fucking talk about. You just don't talk about anything. You just make more jokes. That's why sometimes I make crash jokes sometimes, and that's what I've fucking been brought up to do. Cut the tension with a fucking joke, and sometimes they don't land, and that's how that's how you cope with tense situations. But you don't talk about your struggles, and as a bloke, you don't talk about your struggles. But I actually think there's a lot to benefit from doing so. Like I said, I've been having therapy for 8 months, and it's good. It works. And you don't obviously need to have gone to war to be able to go to therapy. And my therapist that I have last week actually mentioned something, and I'll talk to about this to you because this one's quite pertinent. Now, this is what they described to me, so I'm probably going to fuck this up, but just roll with me. I'll get the gist of it. When you're making memories, happy memories go down like bricks. Crazy paving. They go down nice and neat, right? Your brain goes, I know what that is. That was a good day. Let me just fucking stick that nice squared off brick right there. And you remember it. And then if you go, oh, Malia 2006. Yeah, I remember that. Fucking hell, what a day. Because it was a good memory and your brain stored it. Bosh. Now, in a fight or flight situation, and I'm not talking about war. You could have been in a car crash. The adrenaline kick is exactly the same. But when you're in a fight or flight situation, your brain ain't taking all the bits, processing them, making bricks out of them and storing them, you know, on Tuesday the fucking 10th of January 2006. Bosh, there we go. Nice, neat package. The file of facts for that day is all over the fucking place. You know, it's just rushed and stuffed in. And it doesn't fit. Your body can't stick it in the right place in the memory and process it. So when you think about it, or when it gets brought back up, the body treats it like a new memory. So it never processes it. And because it never processes it, it never gets fucking dealt with. And that to me resonated. And I go, fucking hell. That's interesting. Never had that explanation to me. Stops you feeling like a bit of a fucking biscuit head, to be honest. And might actually be able to help you process some of the shit that's gone on. Like I said, it can be a fucking car crash. It could be a robbery. Doesn't have to be war. It's just the way your body processes stuff. So, you know, if you've had something happen that you struggle to deal with, go talk to someone about it. But talk to a professional about it. And get off the fucking internet because it's full of fucking weirdos. Even though some of you are good, most of this chat's usually good. And for anyone who's like, why have you locked your Twitter profile? Because I'm fucking that close to deactivating. That's why. Instagram's the place to go. Instagram's happy days. It's a nice little convo to be had on Instagram. Twitter's full of fucking lunatics. Kim says Ralph hasn't changed anything since he got here. Same players keep playing. Same players make mistakes. I respectfully disagree massively. Since he joined, Manchester United's pressures have literally gone fucking gadoosh like this. Manchester United have recently started to create way more chances. We're failing, but we're failing in different things. We are progressing. We ain't the finished article. We're getting better. I think you got to give him a little bit of time and give him some of the right personnel, and he's going to improve you. And that to me is what a good manager does. He knows what he's talking about. Isaac Supreme says, been struggling tons myself, and it helps a lot watching you. A down-to-earth lad talking about what I love. Thank you. If you struggle, get help. Well said, mate. And I appreciate the comment. Thank you. Steve, do I check my DMs? Rarely. Like my Instagram DMs there's a million. So I'll dip in every now and then and see them. Sometimes I'll miss them. David says, no wonder the players want Poch. They have no ambition. Bingo. Instagram has some melters as well, says Blunt Ape. It does, but they're on the whole a little bit better than... Can I just talk to you about TikTok, right? I fucking like TikTok. I find myself watching these, maybe I'm just fucking losing my mind and 20-second videos is the future. I'm learning so much shit on TikTok in little explainer videos. I'd love to figure out how I can condense some of my content into TikTok as a delivery method, because I fucking love it. But where did this fucking epidemic of dudes singing about shit come from? What the fuck? And dancing. And I'm seeing people in public places just fucking dancing. What the fuck? I'm happy for you. If you're happy and you're not harming anyone, you fucking crack on and dance. But when did this become such a... Is this a pandemic of motherfuckers just fucking doing shit into a phone? Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I can't believe the sheer... Not only that, right? There's a phrase for soldiers. I am so fucking glad social media didn't exist as I was going through basic training. I could have seen myself being one of these cringeworthy little bellends. Oh my goodness. These fucking little twinks just fucking licking the lips and fucking miming along to songs in uniform. God help you if you're in my squadron. Oh my God. I can't believe some of the shit that I'm seeing. Police officers, fucking soldiers, just, lads, what are you fucking doing? Oh my fucking God. I can't believe it. I actually can't fucking believe how many fucking instances there is of these fuckers doing shit. Or just how much people are filming themselves. It's insane. And I say this as someone who has a YouTube channel. At least I talk to people about stuff. And the day you see me dancing, fucking cancel me and just fucking leave me there. Forget about it. Say his fucking head's finally fell out. Leave him alone. Oh my fucking good God. Saul says, I'd had to delete TikTok, was taking too much of my time. It's a proper mind fuck. Yeah, you go to, I'll just fucking go on here while I'm having a dump. Next thing you know, it's gone. Hours have passed by. Blunt Ape, I wonder if those people will look back and cringe at it. 100%. Absolutely fucking nailed on. Absolutely fucking nailed on. Yeah. Oh, I've got some photographs of me from basic training, and I go, you fucking lizard, what are you doing? Did I watch the FA Youth Cup performance from United? Yes, very pleasing performance. Tino says, I have a student who has a horrendous past, told about it when I was suicidal. Now she talks to me openly and says I feel a lot better about herself for it. That's awesome. On both parts. Ryan, here we go. Let's get into the fucking conspiracy stuff. TikTok is Chinese propaganda to feminize men. Wow. On that, so China apparently has its own version of TikTok where it only posts people doing inspirational shit, engineering, academic type stuff, and that's what they're looking at promoting. Whereas ours is fucking mindless, isn't it? Absolutely mindless. But that's what we've chose to do with our social networks. Twitter's there for arguing with fucking lunatics, I think, right? Facebook's there to watch your old fucking racist uncles just fucking moaning. And I think Instagram's just for fucking posting photos, and I'm happy with days without me. TikTok's for fucking... I don't know. I think there's a real good use for it. The delivery method of like... Joe, go look at what I'm following. I'm following loads of like history posts. I love that shit. Someone's like take you down for a walk at somewhere in London and be like, this used to be a fucking bloody blah blah. And I'll go, this is amazing. This is the sort of info I crave. Save the Jungle says, dancing's an amazing way to relieve stress and tension. Great for mental health. Fine. Don't film yourself doing it. In uniform especially. Alex says the TikTok videos have a subwave frequency that triggers your addictive center of the brain to watch more and more. Wow. I'm going to have to delete it. Facebook's to sell sofas and Insta's to basically a dating app now. Joel says Alex Jones is controlled opposition. What would Declan Rice transfer fee be if he represented Ireland? Half as much. Blunt Ape says, what's funny is Joe Rogan's still going to have more viewers watching his show after all this shit and the media will have less. On Joe, I wasn't aware of the stuff that it said linking black people to Planet of the Apes. That's unfucking forgivable. And his use of the N-word was unfucking forgivable. I thought what his explanation of bringing on people that were opposed to different viewpoints, it made sense. But I also, you know what you're doing to a certain degree as well. When you bring on controversial guys. I remember the first major controversy with Rogan was he had on some guy that basically was like, yeah, AIDS ain't real. And like gay people got it because they were partying and taking drugs and stuff. And he got a fuck ton of backlash for that. Because the platform that he's got, you can't have people coming out and just talking that level of utter fucking bollocks. And Joe's defense to it was, I'm just providing a platform, and he questioned them, and he isn't just going to be like, that's a load of bollocks. If they're coming with research, he questions it and goes back and forward with it. But in my opinion, I've watched less of Rogan as he'd gone on Spotify. I used to religiously watch it, and I used to love it when he had comedians on. I thought they were very entertaining shows. But once he got onto Spotify and COVID happened at the same time, every show was just fucking COVID, 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 COVID. Yeah, I get it. You don't want to be vaccinated. Doesn't mean vaccines are bad. Do you know what I mean? And it just got tiresome. And I haven't watched any shows of his lately. There's very few that I would get excited like, oh, he's got him on. Whereas previously, I would have watched fucking all of them. I don't think they'll cancel him though. Russell Brand is doing good things on YouTube, says Toxic. Yeah, he is actually. I think Russell Brand, this is going to be the weirdest fucking comparison ever. Russell Brand reminds me of Steven Gerrard, where instead of a 5-yard pass, and by a 5-yard pass, I mean a simple sentence, Steven Gerrard had to play the 60-yard pass to do the same thing. And I feel like Russell Brand uses like overtly flowery language because I think he enjoys the mental challenge of using overtly flowery language. And sometimes he just fucking loses me because I don't have a fucking clue what he's saying. Now, maybe I'm just dumb, but that's my sort of vibe with it. Off topic, but did I serve with any Gurkhas? Not in theatre, no. I did do a training course. I think I did my OPTAG for Iraq with a load of Gurkhas, and it was only when I realised every single one of them was called Gurung, and I was like, hang on. In the army, a lot of regiments have name tape, and if you've got the same surname as someone, they would add your last 3. And there were that many people called Gurung in the Gurkhas that they'd started adding their last 4 to sort of separate everybody with everyone. Blunt Ape says spot on. Rogan doesn't need Spotify or anything, but he could put his podcast on his website. When you look at the views he's doing versus what like mainstream television shows are doing, I think like your mainstream television shows do around about 500,000 views a month. Rogan does like 11 million views, per episode. Rogan's doing like 11 million views or 19 million views per episode. It's absolutely bonkers. David Wilton, what's my views on Simon Jordan? He's football's answer to Russell Brand. Not sure about that. He makes some decent points. He makes no decent points. He just hates United and goes absolutely turbo with it. Burnside is back. What a fucking random... It was the Bill, wasn't it? Burnside. What a random character. Have I got to look into Dylan Levitt at the mighty DUFC? The closest thing to Paul Scholes, look at possession when he's playing and look at the technique on his goal last night. Yeah, I retweeted his goal earlier. I am the leader of the Dylan Levitt Ultras. We are open for bandwagon jumpers if you want to come and get involved. I drove to fucking Bangor. It was me, Dave Pritt, and my mate Farky drove to Bangor in Wales to go and watch him play for the under-19s Wales team against San Marino. And he was on the fucking bench. He came on for about the last 10 minutes. To understand Dylan Levitt, all you've got to do is understand that on his debut for Manchester United, away on a car park in... Who do we play? Astana. He made 100 out of either 103 or 106 passes. It's a fucking joke. My only drawback that I think might hold him back is I think he's a little on the small side. In that case, he could be like Paul Scholes, but I'm not sure the game is the same as the one Paul Scholes came into. James says, if no Ten Hag, how do I feel about Rangnick's manager contract being extended? Please no Poch. I'm taking Rangnick over Poch all day long. Get Carlos Queiroz back to Man U as manager. Can we just move on? Any advice on which corps are best to join in the army? What do you want to do? Is what I would say. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay in for life? This is something I was looking into the other day as well. So there's not really been any military deployments on a large scale since Afghanistan closed for business. About 2014, I think. So my generation, apparently the same thing happened in the Falklands. The Falklands was a proper fucking dust up. Like, literally the shit that you do in training and on exercises, it was that sort of combat. Like, proper fucking legit combat. And what happened with the lads that went out in the Falklands is, as they came back, some fucking fresh out of depot commander, second lieutenant, trying to tell them what to do. They'd be like, motherfucker, I was brassing up half of fucking Boca Juniors Ultras 2 weeks ago. Who the fuck are you? I don't think once you've had combat experience and you've had one of the alliest tours of all time, I don't think there's a desire from you to go back to stagging on in Germany, as what would have been most people's experience after the Falklands. I think even Ireland, which was spicy at the time, didn't come close to what you'd just seen in Ireland. And for some of the lads in my generation, some of the fucking craziest tours, I mean, literally World War II style contacts and engagements. I did Afghanistan 2006, 2007, and Iraq in 2008, just fucking bounced from one to the next. Though the tempo of those sorts of things carried on probably till about 2011. So it's probably 5 or 6 years of serious, intense, hardcore combat. The sort of shit that, I'm going to be real with you, soldiers are fucking hard for, right? We love this shit. After that, everything else in your career, I've done it. It's like winning a fucking treble at 21. Now what? I got to go play back in the league. You're going to go off the rails a little bit, aren't you? You've achieved everything you set out to do. What I was hearing is people have left, essentially, because all of those sexy tours have gone. Now there's an entire generation of soldiers, 10 years deep, that haven't had any combat experience, any operational experience, until whatever's about to kick off in Russia goes in which case you're going to be fucking, you're going to be double fucked. MK says, likelihood of sustained process against the Glazers at Old Trafford, limited, I would have thought. Jeremy says, if you had the choice of Rooney with Ralph supporting him from higher up or Pochettino, who would you go for? Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it? Wow. I do think, on the Rooney thing, as much as we'd all fucking get carried away with it, and look, ultimately, man, football's fucking romantic. If you can't get behind someone like Wayne Rooney being given a manager's job, then what are you here for? Do you know what I'm saying? If you can't get behind something ultimately as romantic as that, like, that's why we love football. These unrealistic fucking madness things. Do you know what I mean? I'll take that all day. On the Rooney thing, I think he's done a tremendous, tremendous job with Derby. But Derby ain't United. And I think he needs to prove himself a little bit more, maybe in a different circumstance. Can he be a team in the Championship even that dominates the ball, that's expected to win and goes and win? Because as David Moyes found out, it's all right doing a decent job at a decent level on one hand, but replicating that where you're able to be a team expected to win is a different thing, and harder, much harder. Jed says British soldiers shouldn't have been in Northern Ireland in the first place, but that's a discussion that needs more than a YouTube chat. Absolutely. I didn't serve in Northern Ireland, and I think even by the time I joined the army, it changed in a massive way. But I believe it wasn't great on any front early doors. And I think there was mistakes and errors made on every side in that. And ultimately, British troops on the streets of Britain's, we fucked up a long time ago, didn't we? Mujahid said Rooney would get sacked day one because he would make half the team cry. They're all weak. Apna says Rooney deserves time to complete his skill set. Yeah, I totally agree with that one. What do I think about the players wanting Poch? I don't think they're in a position to demand who they're based on. No, I absolutely don't. I would just say fucking absolutely not. Flipside says, I'm doing a dissertation in uni about mental health. Part of it's PTSD. Do I have some words about that and experiences and knowledge on it? Yeah. Get in touch with the name that's on my, the email address that's on my Instagram, and I'll sort it out for you. Who was the last player to come to United and significantly improve? Can I phone a friend? Poch has more Premier League experience, so does Neil Warnock. Managed bigger egos, but has he managed them well? Has more tactical flexibility than Ten Hag? I don't know about that, kid. He's a better man manager, also don't know about that. And got into the Champions League final with no signings. Not really no signings, was it? It was one summer with no signings, but prior to that, 27 signings. That Garnacho kid is something special, says Mako Smith for the super chat. Yep. The man to blame for all United's problems is obviously the kit man. Every time he puts the kit out, he's getting the sizes wrong. I think the man to blame for a lot of United's problems has just left at the start of the month, and that's Edouard Woodward. And I'm hoping that we start to see stuff improve. Now, he's fucking took his shit out of his desk. I don't think Bruno necessarily vastly improved. I think he's sort of carried on the trajectory that he was doing over in Portugal. But his numbers have been sensational since he got here, and they've just sort of continued. Jez says there are better managers in the Premier League than Poch. Potter is better than Poch. Moyes is better than Poch, and I don't want Moyes back. Bingo. What about Poch's tactics do you not like? What about his tactics do you like? Any Paddock coaches gear getting sold? Nope. You got to join the club to get that. Matty says, steer your bang on, Poch ain't won shit and bottled it when it mattered. Unless we're not interested in winning, then Ten Hag all day. And then 2 weeks later, fucking Pochettino with a shirt outside Old Trafford. Can see it coming. He is ideal for the Glazers. He's not going to push too much for making sure we win stuff. He's going to be content with not doing fuck all. It's just fucking gash, innit? Did I do any joint drills with the Indian army? No, the only foreign army I dealt with was the Afghan army, the Iraqi army, and we did a training exercise out in Oman, and we had Oman escort because we were going very close to Yemen, and it was a bit meaty, so they give us Oman escort. I actually, one of my favourite photos actually from the army, was it on my phone? I don't usually post it anywhere usually, so I can't imagine anyone's seen it. It's me trying to tie a shemag, basically a headscarf, as we was sitting down to eat something in Oman on the road, and it's got all of the troops behind us, all of the Omani troops behind us, and they had like a weird orange and black kind of camo. It was kind of cool. We sat down to eat a goat, and it was fucking red as. It blew my fucking brains out. I don't know if the light will be too strong on this one. I'll see if you can see that. Is that visible? That's me tying a headscarf on with some Omani dudes behind us. This one you might have seen. Me or my Erik the King flag. Hope when Ralph moves upstairs is from Mike. We stop making easy signings of English players. The Dutch, Portuguese, and German leagues have better value. Yes. Poch in the building. Squad is a myth as well. If you look at the team, about 8 of them were already there. Yeah, he could have felt lucky on that front as well. Ten Hag has managed a team of winners. Ten Hag's also rebuilt a team. That's a big one. Casey says, sick of board and the players. What has happened to this club? Keep the manager we have now until next year. Let them have a clear out. Wrong players, get the right ones in. Proud and hard working. Dre says Boca Junior's line was great. It's true though, isn't it? Without dodging the question, what's the main issues with Poch's tactics or lack of? I don't fucking see any. Like, he plays a pretty standard, basic brand of football. He plays a 4-2-3-1. He wants to put the ball on the floor and move it forward. Okay. Name me a game that he tactically won. Name me a game where he changed that tactic, played a different style and won a game. He's got no fucking tactics to speak of. Aram says, stupid question, but how do you deal with the heat when you post on these countries? You sweat like a motherfucker. I'll be honest with you. I'm all right in the heat. It's the cold I don't like. I actually volunteered to go to Iraq because I was sick of the fucking cold in England. It's a true story. What is the process? Don't know. What would I say is the best place to go that will put you in the army, that will put you in good stead afterwards, says Harris. It purely depends on you. If I could say to you, you should go Special Forces because that's going to put you in the best stead. You know, well, I don't really like Special Forces. It's not for you then. Like, it's like someone, Tom Segura's got this excellent joke. People come up to him and go, where should I eat? I don't fucking know you. You should try dim sum, and you go, I fucking hate all of China, and you go, oh well, don't try Chinese food then. Like, without knowing you, I couldn't possibly say. You have to know what your strengths, what your weaknesses, and what your ultimate desire is about. If you don't know those things, then it doesn't make sense. I wanted to stay for a full career. I'd still be in now, technically, if I had it done. So I didn't go with the idea of just doing a few years and then leaving. A lot of people did, and people will say to you to get a trade, go in the engineers or something like that, because you'll get qualifications. You can be an electrician, you can be a plumber. But if that's not what you want to do, then that's not good for you. You can go into the infantry and find skills. I mean, there's going to be a lot of like really generic life skills. Did Rio buy my mic? No. Am I on a certain diet at the moment? No. You can go into the infantry and get life skills. There's a lot of life skills that you're going to learn in the army. There's a lot of independence that you're going to learn. There's also a lot of being treated like a fucking child that you're going to get. Make no mistakes about that. You are going to get treated like a child. And that's sometimes part of the best bit. Hostad says, just said to my mate, United have had more reboots than Batman. Oh, God. It's fucking true, isn't it? Stone Age says, I read that Ralph likes the Dortmund defender Akanji and that he's a United fan, so he's Kessie. I reckon we just fill the squad with United fans. We could probably build a decent 11. Both of those players improve United. Did my son experience United winning titles? Because it must be depressing if you started watching after 2003. Yeah, I've got a picture in my office of him holding the European Cup and the Premier League from 2008. I have a vibes question. Some episodes recorded in the Paddock studio with Joel and Rio, and I'm in the office. Why is that? Because there is a replica of our studio in London. And not a lot of people are going to believe that, but it's a fucking 100% true. There is a full replica of our studio in the New Era office in London. What's my thoughts on Rashford's form? I think he's in terrible form at the moment. He did manage to pull out a couple of goals, but his in-game performance is no more than 5 and 6 out of 10 currently, and it needs to fix up. John Pablo says, former infantryman here, US infantryman, might feel like I do. Players like Harry are soft and unaccountable. Board has no integrity. If this is the re-established United DNA, what drugs was Ollie on? Ollie might have been covering up for a lot of this himself. It looks like that with hindsight now, doesn't it? And maybe he had plans to move things on. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just knew what he were working with and was trying to get the best out of the hand he was dealt with. And it went tits up towards the end, but by and large, it was relatively successful, I think. Or at least it was It just went west towards the end, didn't it, for whatever reason. But I think, Ralph is struggling just as much. I don't think it was as blatantly obvious like Ollie was the problem, and if we'd have fixed that, everything would have been sunshine and rainbows like a lot of people thought it was going to be. It was never going to be that. Look back at that Liverpool game. There were so many fucking errors in that game that you can't just say, yeah, change the manager and that's all going to change. Because it just wouldn't have done. It just wouldn't have done. Fred says, Steve Diplomatico rum was mint. Any other recommendations for alcohol? Rum's fucking quality. If I was to bring out my own brand of rum, who'd be interested in having a dabble in that? Because that may or may not have been something that I've been consulted about recently. Jerry says, is it possible to get Ollie on Vibe with 5? I'm sure Rio's got his digits. Do you know who I'd like to have on? Michael Carrick. Would I take Ralph next season over Ten Hag? If Ten Hag goes, I'm not fucking joining that shit show. I don't think Ralph would be the worst idea, in all honesty. Have I heard anything that suggests Richard Allen will be any better or different than Ed? I saw what the club are saying. Let's wait and see what actually happens, because talk's cheap. Mr. Welsh Raptor says, I realise I'm going to be that old fan in like 30 years where people point to me and go, he remembers when we won the Champions League. Oh, fuck. Why you got to do me like that, man? It's already 14 years ago. That's a long time ago, man. I remember, right? We won the league in 1993. And I remember all the talk about how it was 26 years ago. 26 years, such a long fucking time. So generations. My dad remembers. My dad was fucking 8, 7 when we won the league last. Look at him now. He's here with his own kid. And I'm fucking 11 or whatever I am. 12? No, 10. That's how long that was, 26 years. And then you go, oh shit, we're more than halfway into that. Fuck. If I had to say to you now that United won't win the league in the next 10 years, how many are you going to disagree? Because I don't think we're going to win the league in the next 10 years. I'll still be there, though. Ian says, the last 2 years have been difficult, but meeting the love of my life, my now fiancé, plus watching you. Whoa. Don't put me and your fucking fiancé in the same category, mate. United and Rangers have helped as well. How? How have United and Rangers helped? Rangers I could understand if you support Rangers. What the fuck? Do many soldiers come from other countries to serve Britain? Yeah, a lot of Commonwealth countries, a lot of Fijians, there's some South Africans, Zimbabweans, people from places like that. How have we made 3 world-class signings? And that's gone. What would my run be called? Do me gooch sounds French. I might have a name already, but maybe who knows? Because I don't know if I'm doing a rum yet. We'll just have to see. With my love of rum, do I think I was a pirate in a previous life? I think I'm a pirate in this fucking life. How about that? I just don't like this. I'm more of a desert dwelling pirate, and maybe that would be the fucking. Maybe that should be the fucking title of the rum. I fucking hate boats. I did was it 10 weeks or something? 8 weeks, 10 weeks on HMS Ocean. Jesus, I wanted to headbutt a tail rotor. Fucking hell. That was horrible. I was sleeping on a bed this fucking wide, climbing into a slot like this. Fuck that noise. Anyone who's thinking of joining the military, the Navy's bottom of the list. Fuck that noise. Nitin says, I'm intrigued to see what Ralph could do with a pre-season. Oh, that's a good shout. Get Cantona on. I couldn't. What's my favourite rum? Mine is Watson's, Diplomatico and Salford. And lately, Bacardi Ocho's finding a way into the mixer. Colin says, I backed Holly but lost confidence in himself to turn things around. He might have done, you know. Matthew Hill says, Steve, just in the process of signing up. Want to join the Paras. Any advice on training in prep? Have a watch of what P Company represents, but understand P Company is not going to be the hardest thing that you do. P Company is going to be extremely difficult, and it's going to be injuries that are going to fuck you before you get to that. But you're going to do some digging in exercises in full Romeo NBC stuff, which are going to break you just as hard as P Company will. I think they're not as pass and fail as P Company is, though. I would just say make sure you get very, very, very good at running and equally as good at moving with weight on your back. What did I make of Rio digging out Joel's hair last night? I haven't seen that. Jedstore says, I don't think Ollie will ever talk about what happened at United. I think he'd have a lot to say, but he's too respectful to say it. I agree to a greater or lesser degree, actually. Mujahideen says, Pep leaves City, Ten Hag joins City with fuck for 10 years. They'll have 15 titles. I can't disagree with that. Is it true that CR7's signed with United? Yep. His son. Sorry, yep. Jed says, I remember running out onto the street in Ireland in 1999 after Ollie scored, pissing the neighbours off, singing Glory, Glory, Man United, but I don't give a shit. Oh, what a night. Oh. Give Ralph a chance to get rid of the deadwood and he'll do well with his own team. I think he will as well. What's Rio really like? Is he a bit of a shithead? He's really chill. I think he's the busiest man in the world. Ever had Salford rum? Yes, it's fucking top. It's buttery. Can we organise a Patreon meetup / testing when the rum launches? What rum? Probably. Plantation rum, that's a good one. Ralph at the moment is trying to take back the player power from them and making sure the next manager doesn't have to deal with it and he has full control. Agreed. How many starters do you think we need next season? Surely a centre-back, a right-back, a striker. Oh, just fucking too many. That's the fucking problem, innit? Appleton rums from Jamaica is superb. Agreed. We will have a rundown on the 19th, by the way. If you'd like to join in and watch the rundown and the utter fucking mayhem that ensues on the rundown, then you need to become a Patreon member for it. I think there's a Patreon video dropping tomorrow, which is a little bit about what's been going on with the green and gold shirts. Is there any war films that I enjoyed? I don't know about enjoyed, mate. There's a lot of good war films out there, though. Steve, I could see you working as a coach in United's youth setup someday. I can't. What do I think the budget plus selling play is going to be in the summer? Fuck knows. United tend, with a new manager, United do tend to go balls deep with it, don't it? So they could go a little bit mental for him. If I think Poch's no tactics, I haven't watched his Spurs team. Well, I have, and I did, and I don't. One of the top scorers, youngsters, one of the top scorers whilst being low spenders. He spent 300 million. Sensational. All that and he had the best defence in the league. Again, this again proves what recruitment's all about. Recruitment's massive. Ray and Nephew's the devil, mate. Is there any gems in the academy other than McNeil? Yes, several. But I think McNeil might be the one that could go on and do madness. Mabry as well. If you've not seen the Mabry video from earlier, go check that out. Thoughts on Martinelli double bookings? Has that just happened right now? I'm not watching Arsenal right now, so I don't know what's just gone on. Are they let me just get live score on. Are they fucking it up again? I mean, I want them to fuck it up, in all honesty. We kind of need them to. Oh, they won 1-0. Fuck's sake. That puts some level on points of us now with the game in hand in our favour, doesn't it? Spurs are 3 points behind us with 2 games in hand. Not ideal. What happens after Greenwood's suspension? I think it depends entirely on his criminal case. Jimmy Garner in midfield next season? Yes. at least fringe. If he could force his way into start. Is there a long-term plan for Paddock FC, or is it more see how you can go year by year? Stay tuned for that. When are we going to bring back Pizza Club? Bring pizza back to the Pizza Club. So Pizza Club's what me and Ben used to do up here. Now we're doing it once a month in the studio. We did have pizzas last week, or last month for it, but you can't talk while we're eating. So I might just grab a pizza beforehand and then do it. Otherwise, all it is me and Ben doing a podcast while 2 pizzas go cold in front of you, because two of you can't eat and talk. The only people that want Poch and mediocre merchants at the club. Bingo. Outside of Ten Hag, who would I have as United manager? Give me your top 3. I don't have a top 3 at the moment. I have kind of one guy that I'd be interested in, and that's about it. If United don't finish top 4, do I think Ronaldo will leave? He loves the club. Yeah, I think he loves the fucking Champions League more, though. Be honest with you. I can't see him staying. I think it's in his contract he's not allowed to hear that Europa League music. Almost certain of it. Colin, am I going to come to Ireland at all during the summer? Might be a nightmare to get tickets because you have to get them through the clubs, but you can't buy them online like football. Oh, the All Ireland. Probably won't be here for the All Ireland, but I do want to get over to Ireland for sure. Absolutely do. Reports are saying Nagelsmann might be available in the summer. Are they really? I haven't seen those. What am I going to do when Paddock get into the EFL? One, we're not. To get into the EFL, you're going to need several hundred million from the position we are now. We can get in the FA Cup, but getting in the FA Cup at round like prelim level 7 and getting to... It's 7 games to get to the first round, which is more than you'd have to get from like United to the final. So the chances of that are fucking not good. It's like 10 games to get to round 3. In all honesty, if I do get to manage Paddock in the FA Cup and we go 10 games and end up drawing United, I'm going to try and fucking beat us, because that's mental that I've got that far. And then I'll fucking tout myself for the United job. Salve it, lads. CR7 helps us want to complete the set and win that Conference League. Alfie says, Ollie beat Poch with a worse team. Poch can't win the Uber Eats League with PSG, but Ollie gets shit for winning the league with Mulder. He's going to win it this year, though, isn't he? But yeah. Do I think United will be in the mix for Haaland? Unless Haaland's got a younger brother that we don't know about, then no. Spurs net spend on the Poch was 25 million. So what? He still spent 300 million. No one ever talks about United's net spend in this, do they? Because when they talk, United spent $1 billion. Yeah, we have. And 75 million of that's on Lukaku. And 60 million of that is on Di Maria. And how much of it no longer plays for United? The net spend's irrelevant. He signed 27 players. Bosh. He signed more players than Ollie was allowed. Yeah, he got stiffed in his final season, but let's not revise history. That Spurs squad was a great squad. And to improve that squad probably needed a 70 or 80 million pound signing, which he was never going to get. That's why he signed nobody. It probably needed depth. You couldn't have really, without spending obscene amount of money, have got there. Thoughts on Ericsson going to Brentford? I don't like it personally. So Fabrice Muamba came around yesterday. And we were talking to him about it. Now, he's got a pacemaker fitted. Now, I didn't know this. I didn't actually know what the pacemaker does. And Fabrice said the pacemaker fucking electric shocks you when your heart goes. And I was like, all right. I said, well, has that happened? And he went, yeah, twice. So since Fabrice's incident on the pitch, which we're going to get him on Viber 5 as well, actually, because it's the 10th anniversary, 10 fucking years, 10 years since that. Next month, I think it's the 17th of March. He said it happened once when he was having breakfast with his son and once when he's on a train where his pacemakers had to kick in. And he said it hurts, like it fucking electric shocks you. And he said he don't know how Eriksen's getting insured, and he just can't believe that he's doing it. I would have to defer to the experience of someone who's experienced and had what Eriksen's had. It's insane. Danny Shields says, I don't think I want a football club run by fans, owned and directed for sure, but by pure fan running not resulting player FC nonsense. Surely needs sensible delegation to experts. How would fan running work? You don't pick the team on fan votes. You don't do a poll every Monday morning like, we're going to shit, when should we sack the manager? What you do is you probably have 6 weekly, 10, 12 weekly issues that have come up in the fan base, or the fans are asking you to take votes on. For an example, we are looking at doing this for Stretford Paddock. What's going to happen is we will appoint fans to the board based on how many fans are members. So let's say for the first 250, we might appoint one fan member to the board. For the next 250 or 500, we might appoint an extra member to the board, and then so on and so forth. So you would end up with more fans on the board, the more fans they represent. Does that make sense? So it's like a representation. Now, those fans would be elected. Those fans would then run a forum or run a WhatsApp group or however they feel like doing it, and they will put forward things to the board. Now, the things that we're probably going to let people vote on as Paddock would be ticket prices, would be season ticket prices, would be sponsorship ethics. So things like if someone approaches us that's, say, a gambling company or an alcohol company, if we've got a large academy system or a large junior section, maybe we go, do you know what? If we've got no options, we might have to just take it. But if we've got options, we might say, do you know what? Do we make it club policy that we don't accept alcohol sponsorships for the football team? And if the fans decide that, well, that's what we're fucking doing. We might look at, what charitable organisations should we support as a club? Put it to the fans. The fans get their say. The places on the board would then be electable after a certain period of time, and fans could have their say on different stuff. And fans can also bring things to the board and say, look at this as an issue. Whatever it is. I can't think off the top of my head where it could potentially be, but it's not going to be stuff like, we need a new fucking set piece coach. You're going to put a director of football in place, you're going to put a CEO in place, and you're going to trust those people to do their jobs. If there's enough of a complaint, you're going to say, I think these people need to be moved on. And that's the crack. Brian says, can't believe Zuma was fined 250k for kicking a cat. That's how much Harry Maguire is paid every week to kick a football. Oh my god. It says something, when Ferguson and his staff attend games to the day, the current staff are there for the paycheck. You need to be obsessed, love the club, and we don't have that at the minute. Alex says, surely Ralph is going to be the consultant and saying, get Erik Ten Hag, and the board are saying, yeah, now we're getting Poch. Is he already thinking, fuck me, why am I here? Bingo. Dan United says, the Glazers are really committed to improving communication with the fans. It's too crazy an idea to try and get that weasel Joel on Vibe with 5. Rio probably could get in contact with them. They're not fucking coming on there to get grilled by me, do they? Let's be honest. Can't tame me, mate. Me and the whole crew have helped me through dark times. Thank you. And tell Jay next time, let me get his meal deal at Morrison, says Matty. I'll tell him. I should have watched Luke Thomas's live chat on Thursday. It's really cool. Maybe I will. When will I openly admit Liverpool are a better run club? I do. And are a bigger club, as only 2 managers have won major honours for Manchester United. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? If we'd have had one manager that had only won all of our honours, it doesn't matter. We've still won more honours. God, you Scousers are fucking weird. Honestly. What makes me say Pep has had a mixed bag of transfers? Aren't Walker, Silva, Rodri, Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Stones not enough? Well, Stones doesn't play, for starters, and he was a £50 million centre-half. Cancelo and Walker are two of like the 7 fullbacks that he signed. Ederson was his second goalkeeper. Rodri was a good signing. And Bernardo Silva's been decent, I guess, but like he was getting compared to Messi when they signed him, and he has not been Messi. Can United win the Champions League round of 16 as it's the only cup we can win this season? Yeah, we can, but we won't. Carrick as United manager, don't think so. It'd be good for him to go and see what you can go and achieve in the game, though, wouldn't it? Ant says, I was interested to find out Ralph was told that he might not stay on after this because he isn't happy about being undermined, of course. Will we get past Atletico? We've got quite a bit of stuff coming out for Atletico. We're going to do a scout report on them, and obviously the how to beat as well. There's going to be quite a bit that we do on that, I imagine. Will we ever see the likes of Messi and Ronaldo again? Fucking doubt it. Ian says, if Rangnick is to succeed in his next job at United, he needs to be the one who chooses the next manager again. Cathal says, hear me out, Rooney as manager in the future. I can see it. He's got to go and do some more stuff in the game, but he started off well enough. And the thing is, there's a lot of managers that can start off pretty well with it as well. But they have to maintain that. When a manager falls off, they fall off hard. Look at David O'Leary. The summer that he takes Leeds United to the Champions League semi-final, he is the hottest ticket in town. He was probably being linked with United, I imagine, at the time. And then it falls off and game over. Who's the most overrated United player in my opinion? It depends where you rate them, doesn't it? Overrated United player. Have you ever asked Rio why he didn't go into coaching? Yeah, I have. And there's not really a lot you can say about his answer to it, to be honest. He said he was on the process of starting his badges when his wife got ill. And obviously she had a horrific struggle and passed away. And I guess he's just not felt the same sort of pull to go and do it again. Maybe it brings up rough memories for him. So I can't blame him, to be honest. It'd absolutely devastate me if that was the same case. Am I a fan of MasterChef? No. Donny brought his pillow for the Everton bench. It's a bit of a piss take that he's had to be on the bench again, isn't it? And it might even end up being quite funny if he still only ends up being on the bench at Everton. Fuck me. Favourite bar in Northern Quarter? On the rare occasions that I actually bother my ass to go out, you can generally find me in Cane and Grain. Rum and ribs. Don't need to go anywhere else. Would I take back Jose or Ollie if those were the only two options available? Ollie today. Are Ralph's tactics and philosophies a bit too technical for his current squad? No. Alex says, well, Athletic will be interesting. They're struggling in La Liga, so both teams kind of looking at the Champions League at the moment. Yeah. Have I read Best and Edwards by Gordon Burns? No, I have not. That would be an interesting one. What's my favourite Erik moment and why is it his volley in the 96 Cup? See, that's up there. His volley against Wimbledon is one that sticks out. Also his volley against Arsenal, where he sort of like licks up the top of the ball and rattles it off the bar. There's too many Erik Cantona moments. The celebration after his chip against Sunderland is up there. That's an Erik Cantona moment. It was also one of the last games that he played when he didn't make it back over the halfway line and the referee was going to book him. how do you keep up with new tactics as a manager? Where do you learn new stuff? You fucking read. A lot. Everything at the moment is on transitions. Defense to attack, attack to defense. That's everything at the moment. Do I think the fact that we don't see true leaders like Keno in the game anymore is because of the changing game, social media, and the way people have been raised? Yeah, I do in a way. I also think that when you're growing up and you look at the men that are playing and you're still a teenager, I remember looking at like Mark Hughes and going, fuck me, how hard is he? Brian Robson, how hard is he? Paul Ince, Pallister, Bruce, how hard? These are men. And then you get to the same age or older than players and you go, they're just fucking blokes or they're lads. And they don't look like they're the leaders anymore. But they're still leaders. They're still leaders in the game. Like Rio was a leader. Rooney was a leader. There's still characters in there. And there's still people that have got the right sort of mentality. I think they're not as frequent. And there's so many people involved in the game at the moment saying you can't talk to a lot of players at the moment because they'll get their agent in or they'll go and speak to the welfare officer. You can't bollock a player anymore. And I think there'll be a bounce back. Whenever something goes one way, there's always a snapback. And it'll probably get quite brutal again at some point. In its own way, if it's not quite the same as the bullying of the 70s and the 80s, it'll probably come back to a little bit more common sense. I think it's gone a little bit too PC and a little bit too snowflakey at the moment, but I think it'll probably snap back to a bit more common sense with some stuff. How realistic is Football Manager compared to actually running a team? I imagine the players do your tactics better in a game than in real life. Although we've had quite a good uptake on our tactics. I've been pleasantly surprised with that. The number one nose is... I imagine it's probably easier in some aspects to be a professional manager than it is at this level. Because I bet when you're a United manager, you know how many people are turning up for the fucking training session on any given day. And I don't. I can plan a training session fucking flawlessly. Right, 18 players I need for this. We're going to do a possession, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do your small-sided game that involves this and that, and then fucking 9 people turn up, and you're like, well, what a load of fucking bollocks is this? That's the hardest thing at this level. You don't know how many fucking people are going to turn up. And facilities. A fucking nightmare, facilities. John says, love my interview with Martin Edwards back in the day. I love doing that interview as well. We did it in his living room. How mad's that? This is the guy that owned United when I was growing up, and here I am having a fucking brew in his living room, chatting about all sorts of stuff. I don't know if I can get in trouble by saying this now, but err on the side of caution just a little bit. When I sit down and interview someone, I say, look, we're not live unless we're live, because that would just be a lie. I say, we're not live. Anything that you say, we can delete, we can edit. I would rather you talk freely and then go, actually, can we take that out? Rather than hold it back and not give us a full sort of convo. We started talking about director of football. And Martin ended up talking about Ed. And I'm sitting there going, fuck me, I've got our title. Oh my God, this is fucking brilliant. And then we finished and he goes, do you mind if we take the thing about Woodward out? And I was like, fuck. And I'm in this to make friends and contacts. I'm not here to just fucking go and do an interview with someone and then burn that forever. So I took it out. But I thought, fucking hell, this is gold. You got to remember, Martin's actually the current president of Manchester United, so not someone that you want having you on a shit list somewhere. Danny says, I remember turning 8 and my dad telling me that it was Robbo's birthday too. What was the moment you had as a kid that you remember realising that this was for life? I don't even know if I'd know now that it's possible to support another football team. I don't know. I don't know what time I sort of like realised that this was my team. It was just sort of, I always got sort of stuck to, and I don't know. Which country is the best to go and get your badges in? Anywhere that'll get you on a B course, because they're a pain in the arse to get on. Did you hear about the story about Donny going to the gym with a muffin and a coffee? Dan James said so. There's got to be a reason. Some people don't want to hear this, but there's got to be a fucking reason why he's not playing. Know what I mean? Would Fergie succeed managing today's footballers, or would they just will? I think he could still succeed. He definitely adapted, didn't he? You know, he has that famous argument where Keno tells him you've changed, and he's like, I fucking had to. What's the biggest surprise or learning curve since we started coaching? On one hand, how easy it is to teach something and see it at the weekend, and that's also probably the biggest satisfaction, is when you start to see shit that you did in training. Like, we scored a goal the other week against Salford, and it was literally something we'd worked on the night before in training. And I'm like, I fucking love that shit. The biggest surprise is how few of your players train every single session, I would say. If Paddock ever played United, how would we play to beat them? If my players was of the same ability, because they are not. I think they would struggle with our style. I can ignore this, but you won't be able to hide forever. I'll have to talk about Ronaldo eventually. What are you on about? What the fuck are you on about? We press heavy from the front, and there's nothing more disruptive and soul destroying than when you're losing the ball in your third. I think obviously the ability is just going to take us completely and turn us inside out, but you know, the style of play, United wouldn't match well. Ability is just not even fathomable at this level. What would be the first question that I would ask Sir Alex? You've got to assume Sir Alex has heard and can't be asked answering. About the treble, about Ronaldo, about Keane. So I would do what Jay did, and I would ask him about the 1991 Cup Winners' Cup. But he asked him about the final specifically. I would talk to him about the run, and I would go off on tangents about Johan Cruyff and English football being back in Europe following the ban after Heysel. And I would talk to him about the nuances and the intricacies about those sorts of things, and the learning curve that he and the coaching staff went on through, how difficult it was having been not exposed to European football for years, which is something that's held against him now that he only won 2 Champions Leagues. You know, when you didn't get into the Champions League for coming fourth when he joined United, you didn't regularly get into the Champions League for 10 years after he joined United. So that was 10 years of learning, 10 years of experience, 10 years of opportunities that he didn't get. And I'm pretty certain if he'd have had those, we'd have absolutely, that and the foreigner rule, we would have absolutely done a lot more in Europe on that, I think. But I think I would love to just take it in a direction that he's not thought of. And, you know, I try and do that with any of the players I interview. If they've answered this question before in an interview, why do I need to ask them? Why do I need to ask them again? Would I have a 23-year-old Bex in this team? Yeah. If I won the lottery, I'd invest in Paddock. You can't. It's going to be fan owned. Unless you just throw the money at it and leave. And set your one share like every other fan. Ant says we talk a lot about transfers, player attitudes, etc. But what gets said about our lack of a sports science department since Jose dismantled it? I'm trying to write an article about it. I wish I could say publicly some more stuff about things I've learned in the last few weeks. And it'll probably come out soon. It's not going to be me that puts it out because I don't want to get someone in trouble. In my final year of TV production at uni, have we got any short videos that need editing before the end of May? Look, we do regular internships to give people opportunities, and that's something I'm actually extremely proud of. Like I don't really see this YouTube stuff as, it is a career, it is my job, but it isn't something that I consider as a career or my job, and it almost feels unworthy compared to what I used to do. So I have a mental hard time sort of ratifying that as what I actually do and what I actually am nowadays. But one thing I am proud of is that we've provided a lot of opportunities through internships. And we do very short internships to give people experience. A lot of those that we've given experience to have gone on and either become part-time or full-time with ourselves, or they've gone on and they've worked for some sensational companies. Someone's about to leave and go work for Manchester United next month. It's not the first person that would have left us and gone to work for Manchester United. There's people working at Manchester City. There's a couple of people working at Sky Sports. There's people working at BT Sports. There's people who now write for The Guardian, now write for various outlets. And that's all started by getting an internship and getting experience with ourselves. And I am proud of getting that opportunity because your work and your career is a fucking massive part, and how you earn is a massive part of your life. And getting those starts quite often ends up being massively about who you know rather than what you know. There'll be some excellent people that have done. I mean, Maram today has just got a job with The Athletic, and she's a fucking talented individual that works hard at her craft, and I want to wish her well on her journey now with The Athletic. It's a great outlet. It's an intelligent outlet. It's a cerebral outlet. It's not a clickbait shithouse of an outlet, and she's going to have a great career there. I'm sure she is. But there's so much competition if you want to be someone that covers sport or present or write or be an analyst in, or even be a coach. You know, some of our coaches have just got jobs at Manchester City. There's so many opportunities that we've created out of stuff that we've just done because we enjoy doing it. That I am proud of. And there's gonna be some formal internships, but if anyone's interested, if you have to live in the Manchester area, unfortunately, because we can't really teach you anything remotely. It does need to be done hands-on, person to person. If you've got any desire, if you're a journalist, if you're a video editor, if you're a video producer, if you're After Effects, if you're graphic design, if you're in any of those sorts of fields and you want to get a fucking cast iron guaranteed start in this career, I know we can offer it. We have the contacts to help move you on, and we've got the proven track record of moving people into these careers in elsewhere. And it's a fast pace. You will learn a lot. You will get shouted at a lot. But it's a fucking great grounding. And I think the people that have gone on, and you know, ITV and Channel 4 as well, the people that have started here have gone on elsewhere, and the tempo of what we do is brutal. And I think they find going anywhere else afterwards is quite fucking easy, to be honest. But if you're interested in that, then either head over to the Studio 68 website or get in touch with the email address on any of my socials and go and check it out. In my opinion, Chris Eagles or Jemba write an article about it. What's the question? I'm a student physio and I'm wondering if it's possible to shadow my medical department at some point. Our medical department is one of the coaches with a sponge at the moment, my friend. So you would be the most qualified. I don't know who you're going to shadow. D-Man says, with the Rooney documentary out tomorrow, what's the one thing United related I want to see or hear from him? Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to be open-minded. What? I didn't know it was out tomorrow. For someone asked earlier, actually, is there going to be a brew tomorrow? There probably will be, but I will not be on it. I'm off to London tomorrow, and I'll just be back in time for training, so I'm not going to be seeing it. Has the knowledge I've gained of the club made me bond with it more? I'll be more frustrated and disgusted. More frustrated, to be honest. Saul says, I'm starting uni at UCFB in sports marketing. I got to go to the Etihad every day for sport. Again, you're ideal candidate to come and do a little bit of hands-on work experience with us. You could easily just get involved with doing stuff with the club. There's loads of opportunities out there for anyone who wants one. Have I thought about getting my UEFA coaching badges? Yes, I will do, and I'll be making content about it as I go through that process, but getting on them is a pain in the balls. Do I think we've appointed the right managers already, but in the wrong order? Yeah, there's an argument for that, I think, for sure. Do I think Richard Arnold should actually leave the football inside to Raf, Murter and Fletcher? 1,000%. Jed says, I did filmmaking at college, worked on shooting, editing, promos, live events. I really want to fix the lights in the paddock studio. One camera isn't balanced the same as the other two. We're aware of that. Now, we actually got a lot of equipment robbed in the summer and we haven't had a chance to replace it yet. It's not, the camera's not balanced. It's a setting that we can't change on it, and we're just having to make do at the moment. It's frustrating as hell, and everyone looks a bit green on it, but it is what it is. Is a Salford FC versus Paddock possible? Probably not for a minute. I mean, they're in League Two, aren't they? And flying, so they're more likely to play against United than they are us. United currently 22 points off the bottom three and 21 points off the top. Not great. Good morning from Australia. Good morning. What's my best night watching United? Honestly, outside of winning a trophy, probably the Roma 7-1. I was buzzing for hours after that. It also went off outside, which always adds a little bit of spice to it, doesn't it? Saul says, where would I contact you? Maybe something I can add to my CV before I start in September. Head over to my socials. There's an email address for there. Hit Deji up, or go to the Studio 68 website, studio68.co.uk. Doesn't help when Ronnie sits on wires and damages in the studio. No, he's a div. Sandra says, top stuff as always, keeping the neutral and composed mindset when everyone is reactionary, biased, and driven by emotion. It can only be me. Toby says, Steve, do I think McNeil could realistically make some appearances this season? Yes. Off the bench for minutes, not for a long time, but yes. Have I got any calls or mail about going to Ukraine? No. No. They're not talking about me. Do you think we can turn this season around and go on a run? Is inconsistency the norm for the rest of the season? I think a run's possible. I don't know how probable, though. Ant says, one away game that sticks with you most. For me, it's 93 Istanbul Galatasaray, welcome to hell. That was a definition moment, wasn't it? I think, yeah, that one sticks out in a big way. Also, always going to Juventus. It happened a lot in the 90s, but they were the, they were the big fish. Showmuffles mentioned it again. I saw your reply, actually, and I didn't read it out. You say, I'm neutral, or I'm biased saying Ronaldo's not the problem. Okay, I don't think he is the problem. It's called a fucking opinion, my mate. You can think he's the problem. It doesn't make you right. And I can say he's not, and it doesn't make me right. It's an opinion. There's no evidence to suggest. If your leading scorer at your club is the problem, okay. Is it coincidence that since the new paddock set has no door to hide Jay and United haven't won any penalties? Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I loved our mural. I really did. And that's why we've still got a section of it, an edited section of it, in the corner. But it was tough working in that. Can I make a video about my time in the army? No. I can talk about it sometimes, but I'm not probably not going to make a video about it. Explain why the castle unravelled after August. It's so simplistic. Maybe it unravelled because we signed Sancho. Do you see how fucking stupid that statement is? Maybe it unravelled when we signed Varane. Maybe it unravelled because we signed Tom Eaton. How about that? You see how fucking dumb this is? Are there rooms at the Paddock office we haven't seen yet that could be studio space? If you've watched the vlogs, which are on Netflix, they're fucking not, on Patreon, then you might see more than you normally do see. But you can check those out if you want. Forget this United dross. If you could bring back one discontinued food, what would it be and why? Right, listen, fuckers. Walker's did a crisp in about 1997, and it was a thick cut crisp, a bit like a Brannigan's in texture. You catching what I'm throwing? And it was a beef flavour. It's not a barbecue one. The packet looked like a Brannigan's one, but it was Walker's. And it had like that sort of going on. You know what I'm talking about. If you had a Brannigan's, you know them. Right? And I had one bag of them. And they were fucking outrageously good. And I never saw them again. And I've never found them. I've never heard of them. I've never heard anyone talk about them. And I might fucking smack a toddler for another pair. They were fucking unreal. Connor says, legit, would you ever do a tryout for a new member of the Paddock Boys? I think you do a great job naturally seeing what works and what doesn't, but I think you gain great coverage. Yeah. I think we should have way more people on than we do. COVID, I meant to mention this earlier, COVID stopped me doing a lot of the warm downs because I don't like doing them on Skype or Zoom or StreamYard or whatever you do them on. The COVID problem really fucking hampered a lot of that shit. No, it isn't the beef and onion ones. They don't make them anymore. I can even tell you the shop. It's not a shop no more. It's a fucking house. It used to be a shop in Droylsden that I bought them from. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? I don't think you find him anyone on fan cams anymore. I think fan cams have changed in the last few years. I actually wouldn't mind if we fucked them off altogether, to be honest. But I still want to find ways for our audience to interact. And that's why the pre-match shows are a good opportunity to bring stuff in. And there are occasionally new people that get brought in. But it's weird at the minute. The channel's almost too big to have other random people in. The videos just flop when it's not someone that they recognise, which is wrong because those opinions really do matter. The podcast was always a good spot to bring in someone extra. I thought, again, COVID's really sort of hampered that. But I'd like to see us go back to that and have, maybe it's me and Jay with X. And then you bring X on 4 or 5 times until he can maybe lead a show on his own or she can lead a show on his own. But no, there's plenty of people in the mix of that that deserve to have more airtime. And I've got good things to say, and I don't think it should be a closed shop. Am I sure it wasn't? I am positive it was Walker's. It had a whole story. It was like some old throwback crisp, and they had a whole story. It was like a diagram of a potato being chopped up. They were sort of trying to say like it was made in some old style, and it was definitely Walker's. And I like literally someone who will work at Walker's and go, "Still, it didn't fucking exist." And I'll be like, "Right, okay." What position did I play in rugby league? I was a loose forward. Do I have an NRL team? Not really. Has the building work finished next door? Last time I walked up Dale Street, it was all scaffolding. Yeah, it looks sick, actually, the building next door. Shomaful says the post-August theory is not dumb, and there's been stories about how Ronaldo's taken over the dressing room while the young players are not liking this. Ignoring such stories is not professional. Mate, if you want to talk about it, make your own fucking show and go and talk about it. In all honesty, if you're a fucking 18-year-old player and Cristiano Ronaldo goes, hey, you should probably do this, you should probably fucking listen. Because I don't know if you've noticed, he's won everything. And you, knowing that you're a United player, have literally won fuck all. And that's the problem, is that these little fuckers think they're too good to listen to Cristiano Ronaldo. And that's why the club's in the position it's in, because too many dickheads think that they've made it by being a Manchester United player and not realising the challenge is to be a Manchester United player once you're a United player. And Cristiano Ronaldo knows how hard it is to be a United player. Danica says, I would keep Rangnick too. I believe in what he's doing, and unfortunately for him, it's been one thing after another since he's arrived. Yeah. Steven Jenner Brew is the funniest shit on the website. John Neal says it's steak and onion. No, it wasn't a steak and onion. They tasted a bit like those. But, you know, we will never know because it was 25 fucking years ago. How long until we realistically compete for the title again? Don't know. Was it the tear and share thick cut crisp? I think it was before tear and share. Showmaful, again, look, the numbers of players have dropped. Okay, cool. But that might have been Euros. You can't prove it was Ronaldo. You can have a theory, fine. But you know what I mean? You don't know it was Ronaldo's. How much is Coke a problem in football stadiums? I don't partake, and I don't know why you would. Steve, would I support a Welsh league similar to how Scotland and Ireland have in their own? Well, you have a Welsh league. What do you mean? Am I aware why Fletcher is on the sideline giving instructions? Is his role not upstairs? Well, if he's jumping out on the pitch and giving instructions, clearly fucking not. And maybe that's not a bad thing. What happened to Rivaldo that plays for Paddock? He's also a sprinter, so he's been sprinting. Do I remember Quick Save? Yeah, there used to be one in Droylsden. Lopetegui already doesn't look like Marshall. Lindelof and Varane should start. I've said that. I did my preview today because obviously I'm in London tomorrow, so it's already been recorded, so that'll be out tomorrow. But yeah, I said the same. I agree. Watching from Jamaica, Steve. Keep up the good work. What's the weather like in Jamaica? It's fucking freezing here. Am I ever going back to jiu-jitsu? Yeah, potentially. Although it won't specifically be jiu-jitsu. I'm looking at going to ASW where Brendan and Mokayev have been, which is out in West Manchester. Would Cardiff and Swansea be better not having the chance to play in the Prem? I mean, yeah, they would, wouldn't they? And they're just going to absolutely moonwalk that league, and then they're going to lose all their best players because people are like, I'm not playing against these every week. Alex says, you got me searching like a madman for the crisp. We'll tweet if I find them. There's a new Nick Cage movie out. It's great. For fuck's sake. Who do I want as next manager? Ten Hag. Jed says, I'm convinced on Mengi should be a first teamer right now. Let him bop a few heads. He still needs a little bit of work, but I think he should be a backup. George says, g'day, Mr. Howson. Been watching for nearly 7 years. Wow, we're old. I think United are done. If 9 players leave, what are we buying? We aren't buying 9. We're not buying 9. And that might be... I've had any offers to work for United. MUTV have never approached me, and they wouldn't, because I'm far too fucking real for them. I got a funny story about someone who's constantly slags off MUTV though, who sent an audition tape in for him, which is fucking hilarious. You'll probably see that in the light of day one day, and it's funny as fuck because he is the most fucking anti MUTV guy that's out there. Possibly because they fucking pied him. I did actually speak to United about working as an analyst for the women's team, and then never heard back. One United player I wish it worked out better for, Cavani. Why is it so controversial to criticise Ronaldo? Showmaful, go to fucking bed. Honestly. We get it. You think Ronaldo's shit. Fine. You're allowed that opinion. And no one said you aren't allowed that opinion. But you seem to have a problem with other people having fucking opinions. Get a grip, you fucking lunatic. What happened to the guy that always wore the 11-12 home shirt that used to be on when it was full-time Devils? Ian Smith. Ian ended up going on... Ian's done bits, since. He's ended up on telly. He's ended up on the Magic Sponge podcast, which was a fucking banger of a podcast. We did speak to him about coming on with Sam, but we couldn't line up when him and Sam would both be available to come back on. Jed says we're probably too rich and well known, but my worry is that we'll end up like Villa, a formerly successful side who are now mid-table dregs. Maybe not quite as bad because we're worth so much, but yeah. Is the structure of the academy set up in this country failing developing kids into adults? I think we're doing better than most, to be honest with you. Tino's just hit me up on Discord. Let me see if this is what I think it is, because I saw... There's 141 crisps. Are they in this list? 141 flavours. Walker's crisp with lots of special additions. These are a lot of them new ones that they did, aren't they? Like when they did all the fucking crazy flavours ones where you had to vote on them. Doesn't look like any of these, to be honest. The bag was a lot older than these. All of these ones have got the new logo. They were the old Walker's logo. Was it like it was just a banner without the... Is it a sun or is it a crisp behind them? Yeah, these look like they're all... Oh, hang on, there's some older bags in there. Let me have a look. We might be onto a winner here, lads. What an entertaining show this is while you look at a fucking bloke trying to find Chris from 25 years ago. It doesn't look like it's in this list, unfortunately. No, not those. Whoever said the Walkers tear and share. No. Doesn't look like it's in that list. What colour was the packet? It was like a beige with brown accents. Very much like a Brannigan's. People are like, well, Brannigan's then. It wasn't Brannigan's. They were literally Walkers. Imagine the carnage of the two Smiths, Ian and Joe. Be fucking brilliant telly, wouldn't it? Why can't we put good crosses even though we have Tellers and Delo? I don't know. Have I ever listened to United Rant or Red Mancunian? Yeah, both. I didn't realise I used to listen to Jay when Jay used to do the Red Mancunian podcast. Some fucking wild questions in here. It probably wasn't Walkers. They were definitely Walkers. Probably. But yeah, 1997, bring back like beefy flavoured crisps that I had once. What do I make of Ronaldo Jr. officially signing? Well, it was kind of obvious. He was always going to sign. I just wonder, is he going to get the opportunity to debut for United? If I ever got a chance to speak to Ronaldo, that'd be one of the things that I'd be asking him, I think. Salt Vinger were never blue. Remember when they changed? Never happened. Yes, I do remember. I am old enough to remember when it happened, actually. I remember Walker's Chris used to be 21p as well, and then it went up. Any grey hairs? Yeah, usually I missed a fucking barber's appointment on Tuesday. I have to get an appointment because can't get an appointment for 2 weeks. If you just you can't just get an appointment. You have to book it at least 2 weeks in advance. So I go every other week, and my hair is long. That's why I'm wearing a fucking hat at the moment. My sideburns are getting a bit grey. That's it. Body's like fucking forget making hair colour. We're close to the end. Will Laird get his chance in the first team? This is it. Maybe this is what Ralph's doing. Clear the decks. Give half of these kids an opportunity. And see what the script is. Would I ever do a live stream in the gym? Fuck no. Does Rio ever speak to Maguire? No idea. When's Rio going to get Ronaldo on Vibe with 5? You can get Ronaldo on Vibe with 5. What's the closest Joe ever came to performing a Jesus miracle? Fucking everyone tweet Joe and ask him how his deadlifts are doing. He's fucking deadlifting 170 kg, the bad boy. Can we get Rooney on Vibe with 5? I'm asking. When someone's got a documentary out, that's a perfect opportunity to try and get them to do some media with you. So I've been asking. 5 years without a trophy, and the way it's going to be another 5. Yeah, we'll pick up a fucking shiny in that time. Won't be the league though. Does Rio rate Maguire? Don't think they ever really said, to be honest. I'm surprised Joe doesn't have his own channel. Joe was talking for ages about doing some Twitch stuff, and it never just took off. What sort of analysis do we have at Paddock, and do any other teams in your, I guess that means club, use it? So the first team are the only games that get recorded. We use a Veo camera to record the full 90 minutes. We have an analyst at the moment called Jack, and we have a couple of volunteer analysts that are doing stuff remotely. What Jack does for me typically is I will look for things that I want to talk about in training, things that have gone right, things that have gone bad, things that we've been working on in training, and then I will throw them out on Tuesday. Do about half an hour of analysis on a Tuesday. Tomorrow before training, we'll be looking at our opposition for Saturday. We've played them before. And we know how they play, so we'll be looking at some things that we want to stop them doing and some things that we want to exploit them doing. And we'll probably do about 20 minutes on that tomorrow before we go out and do training. I want to run some sort of patterns of play a little bit tomorrow night, so we'll be doing a little bit of that. Showmaful again, back to hiding. I see. Enjoy Ronaldo and his image rights plastered all over OT with United finishing 10th every season. Why don't you fuck off, honestly? Get a fucking grip of yourself, lad. James says, what's the highest level a Paddock player has played at? Before they played for us or since they've played for us? Since they've played for us, conference. Before they played for us, championship. But that might be Premier League. Very soon. There's a player whose name's been mentioned in here a lot, which is signing for us. Probably tomorrow. If we're coming up against a side we haven't played yet, how do we prepare? We focus on what we do. Very, very rarely does a team have a different style of play that we come up against. Everyone sort of plays a copy and paste of each other, and we have played every team once at least this season, except Manchester Plone. We haven't played them this season, but we played them last season, so we know what we're coming up against, and we've also seen them. Showmaful says, I'm not a lad, I'm a 36-year-old. Well, fucking act like it then, you melon. Is Joe tall and he looks on videos? He's 6'5". He's fucking massive. It makes me look like a dwarf next to him. It's a nightmare. McCullough's really tall and all. He makes you look like a dwarf. Jay that I can stand next to. Walker's double crunch beef. That sounds like it could be a thing. But maybe. I don't know. Yeah, if it's a team we haven't played, we just focus on what we're going to do ourselves. It's one of them, innit? Is it weird that United don't have an elite Brazilian player playing for them even during the peak times? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Why isn't Laird playing for Bournemouth? I think he's had another little injury. Do I think De La Salle are favourites over Paddock for the league, or will they drop points? I'm certain they'll drop points. Before they... I think they're going to have a couple of real tough games. They have got a couple of real tough games. The goal difference is impressive. That's one thing that we don't get to do with filming all the games. Nobody quits against us. No one's ever just like completely tapped out against us. Teams will quit against some of our opposition because the cameras aren't there. So De La Salle managed to put 14 and 9 past Oldham, who we only beat 3-1 and 5-2, was it? 5-2, 5-3, something like that. So they ended up racking like a plus 23 or plus 22 or something like that, and that's literally the difference in the goal difference in the league. So the goal difference is insurmountable at the moment because of that match. It is what it is. These are the hands that were dealt. They've drawn a few games. They've got more games left to play than we do. They've got one game in hand on us. They drop some points, it's over. It'll be back in our hands. And then we just got to win all our remaining games. All we can do is win our games. If we win them, we're going to lose out on goal difference. And it's our first ever full season. I'm not going to be happy with it, but it's positive to take. Let's say Paddock get first each year and financially are good. How many years to reach the Premier League? 20? No, 12. 11. Do I think I'll put Paddock in the Cheshire League going forward or the Manchester one? We will be applying for both. Run down for the Super Bowl? I don't think so. We're doing one on the 19th, which is an anti-Valentine's one, in case anyone is interested. How do we prepare when it seems to have 4 or 5 losses on the bounce and morale is down? Do I give them time off or make them work harder? We've never had 4 or 5 losses on the bounce. My entire season this year has been 2 losses and 1 draw. Won everything else. So I wouldn't know. Garner is a 6 or an 8 next season. I think it'll be an 8. I think a little bit more to be a 6. He could do it, but I don't think it'd be ready for him just yet. Burgers or ribs. Oh, the Rooney quote on Unilad. I loved it when John Terry slipped. I didn't care less that he was an England teammate. Yeah, fucking mint. Why does no one have the balls to make someone captain other than Maguire? Who else is the captain there apart from that, though? What? Stephen, these Poch rumours, do you not think that this is just right-wing media who've complained from the start about the Germanification of the Premier League? What? Steve, I definitely applying because the other week I was an hour in. I'm just being coy. We're applying. Deadline's the end of this month. Paddock Sports League team? Probably not just yet. Super Bowl, Cricket World Cup, or Wimbledon? Super Bowl. How was Ronaldo fit back in at Paddock? Any adjustment period? He's had to work a lot harder than when he was here last time. A hell of a lot harder. Was it intentional or accidental when I put those bars down on the video outro? Don't forget to subscribe. Accidental. I did it before the music was chose. Have I read anything about Mohun Bagan versus East Bengal football rivalry? No, I have not. FA are investigating Rooney for saying that he went into Terry looking for a game. I know, it's a fucking piss take, isn't it? Do we get scouts at Paddock games looking for players? Yeah, we've had United there twice, taking names. Third game of the season, second game of the season, we had United there. And my reaction to that was, fucking, really? Like, really? Twice. Twice I've been there. Where would Paddock have a stadium? Well, we've got the news that we can play back at Droylsden, although I don't know when just yet. I believe that it still requires a safety certificate signing off by the council. So once that's sorted out, I guess we'll be back in there. Hopefully back in there before the end of the season. It'd be nice to round the season out in there, wouldn't it? As for where, if we had our own, it'd have to be in Trafford, wouldn't it? I know I'm from Droylsden, and ultimately the club's nothing to do with it. The name Stretford Paddock is from a stand at Old Trafford. It's just one of those, isn't it? I think to be called Stretford Paddock, you need to be as close to Stretford as possible. The only area you can play in Stretford is Old Trafford, and we're not getting there. And there's Turn Moss, and you're not getting there either. So you've got to go as close as you can to get it. At what level can we start charging people to watch Paddock? We could technically do it next year, I guess, but we won't be doing. It'll be free entry next season, and hopefully the next couple of seasons. Leigh Sports Village is fucking miles away. Fuck that noise. It's got to be in Trafford, and it's got to be in the borough of Trafford. We would probably charge once we get into Northwest counties. But yeah, it probably will, even if we're at the stadium, which costs us a fortune to play at, by the way. I'd probably still just suck it up. It's me that pays. The subs and stuff that we get off the players, it doesn't cover it. It's me that I literally pay out my own pocket for it. Because I want us to have the best that we can have. But I wouldn't charge next season, or however many seasons it takes us to get through the next stage. We've got our sights on going to the Northwest Counties. Hopefully we do that quickly, and we'll probably charge people then. But it would be like £7 or a tenner with a programme, something like that. With the whole Mason business, who would I want the long-term striker at United? I don't know. Steve, would it be wicked if you guys were allowed to play at the Cliff? I might have spoke to someone about you wouldn't have been able to play there, but I did ask about us training there. And it wasn't the immediate go fuck yourself that you think it might be. Someone went and asked someone who ummed and ahed and then eventually said no. Do we still do the bush cams? No. Favourite gangster film? Probably Goodfellas. Do I think that you have any players in the Paddock team that could push and make it to the Championship or Prem? Probably not the Championship or Prem. There's a lad that will be going to League One, though, at the end of the season. And he's a good lad. And hopefully he can kick on from there. He could do whatever. Is there a chance to sponsor to cover the ground fees? Next season, maybe. Yeah. Offered a great Glazers a grant to ground share. And it's a piss that United doesn't have its own fucking youth stadium as well in the area, doesn't it? Terry says, sad there's so much cheating in football, especially grassroots level. Pure corruption and not what you know, it's who you know. Great channel subbed. Cheers. I don't know what that's referring to, but cheers. And I'm sure it's correct. Do I think Keane was right to turn the Sunderland job? I only found out about that when I was on the air. So I haven't really had a chance to think about that yet. If a lad goes to league football, do they pay Stretford Paddock a fee? No, they do not, because it's not. Players aren't allowed to have contracts with us at our level. They're amateur players. They pay subs. So when someone offers them a contract, they just leave. They don't even need to be 7-day noticed, which is what you have to do when you're in non-league. What about Bellevue Stadium? It isn't technically big enough to play football on. People play friendlies there, but it's not FA approved to play there. We inquired there. What do I think of Isaac Buckley Ricketts? So we had Isaac last season. Considering Isaac's heritage, and by that I mean where he's played, what he did for England, he should not have been at Paddock, but he was. And I've got nothing but praise for how professional and how easy to work with Isaac was. He was an absolute joy to coach. and he listened, and he didn't, like, quite simply, Isaac, for those who don't know, Isaac won the Euros with England. He played in the final against Delo. And last season he played up front for us. And he was fucking wicked. One of the best examples of how he played, go and watch Trafford United versus Stretford Paddock last season. Okira and Isaac put on a York and Cole special. It was fucking electric. Some of the favourite football we've played. They literally were just 1-2ing it back and forth and just scoring bangers. Considering where Isaac's played and the levels he's been coached at, he could have just been like, shut up, you fucking dickhead. But he didn't. He took everything on board and he was a joy to coach. Now he's at Southport in the conference, and he's doing bits for them. So I wish him well. And Akira's in the conference as well with Chester, and I wish him well. And all the lads that have been through Paddock and we've moved up, I'm happy that we've helped them, and I wish them well. How do we find players to join Paddock FC? They come through a trial, or they know someone who plays for us, and that's it really. We run a trial every week. Every single week, 6 till 7 on a Friday. Turn up. And if you've got it, you've got it. If you've not, you've not. There's a 37-year-old bloke who's arrived who's played all over the Caribbean, all over South America. There's an Argentinian guy called Pablo, and he's got some fucking skills. He's a bit older, obviously he's 37. I think he'll probably be playing for the Devs pretty soon. Where would Carrick manage? Who knows? It depends on which owner fancies him, all the rest of it. Jen says, how good is Cam? He survived 2 seasons and we haven't fired him from Paddock, so he must not be terrible. Cam's a good footballer. Last season, he was a little bit Pogberish with it. He held onto the ball far too long. He delayed stuff. We moved him into the 6 for a game. It was actually that Trafford game. We moved him into a 6, and he just thrived in that sort of shithouse sort of role. Smash people, move the ball up the pitch. And he'd started to get into a real nice rhythm where he became a real fucking solid member of the team, and he still is. And I still think he has a hell of a lot to contribute to the team. The problem with Cam is, because he's the producer on the fan channel, when United are playing on a Saturday, he's working. And that's disrupted his game time this year. So I think if he was able to get some sort of rhythm and match fitness, like he played in the Denton game, probably was one of the best performers. I think if he was able to get some match rhythm together, Cam's a massive asset to the team. He's a real intelligent footballer, even though he's a knobhead. I know he's not going to mind. Well, he might mind me saying it, but it's the truth. He's just frustrating, but he's a good player, and if he can, like I said, if he can get some regular games under his belt, then he can have a massive hand to say. Look, as far as I'm concerned, we get 7 wins and we win a double this year. 7 games to go, 7 wins. That's all I want. When's episode 2 dropping on the Patreon? Episode 2 will drop tomorrow. So if you're interested in checking that out, check it out tomorrow. But I'm going to call it a day. I didn't realize it was gone 11. I'm on a train early doors in the morning. So cheers for tuning in. If you're in the area, come and watch us on Saturday. You could probably watch United beforehand and then come and watch us. Cheers for tuning in as always, and go check out Patreon if you want some extra content. There's another episode of The Studio / The Office, which is a bit of a behind the scenes madness, dropping tomorrow. Hang on. Ayush says, I'm a goalkeeper, interested to hear what kind of training we do for them. We have a dedicated goalkeeper coach, which is fucking rare for this level, and he's very good. And put it this way, Tom Heaton, when you saw Tom Heaton with if you've not, we put it on Twitter. Tom Heaton was at one of our sessions and went, they're fucking good sessions. And we're like, yeah, we've heard he's a good keeper coach. And there you go. Cheers for tuning in. As usual, go check out Patreon if you want some extra content, you want to support the channel. Next week, we're going to have the Pole Salutes back. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're missing out, honestly, because it's fucking utterly carnage. We've got the Pole Salutes back on the 19th for an anti-Valentine's rundown, and we've got episode 2 of the studio dropping tomorrow. Come and check it out, and I'll see you fuckers in the next one. Laters.